Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I feel so weird to be on the other side today.
I know we're totally shaking things up. The world doesn't know what is going on. It's all topsy-turvy. Remember
It
Seinfeld and Bizarro World?
oh, it does feel a little bit like Bizarro World. I do have to give a shout out to that mug of yours today with that. I think those are called Highland cows. Do you know?
Highland cows, yes. So
They are
this mug,
so pretty.
it's 3D, so all of this is like dripped on there. I'm gonna give it the full turn because I'm a mug snob and I ordered this one from, I think it's called Quirks Pottery in England. So
Oh,
I
so
had
no
this one,
wonder it has a Highland cow on it.
yeah, this one and another one, a second one I had shipped. So yeah, and it's big. This actually probably holds about 16 ounces. So it's
Oh
heavy.
wow.
I only
Yeah.
filled it up halfway with cacao. I can't do 16 ounces of cacao.
That would be a lot of cacao in the morning.
That would,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, I am on the lookout for a dragon mug, specifically a purple dragon mug. So, if anybody out there listening knows of a purple dragon mug, like, because when I'm looking, like, I'm just finding the ones that just like it's a regular coffee cup with it printed on. No, that's
Hmm.
not what I want.
Right. You
I
want
want
like a
like I want the
3D,
version of that with the purple
right?
dragon on it. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm putting that out to the universe. If there's someone listening that knows how to make it or knows where to find it, please reach out because that's what I want.
I love it. Well, I go to do a lot of these anime conventions with my daughter,
Mm,
and their dragons are really big at those conventions. So I will definitely keep an eye out. Um, Now that I think about it, like that would be a really cool, you know, business at a convention is a potter. I have seen 3D printed mugs, which have been pretty cool. And I've seen, just different cozies and things like that. But I haven't seen mugs, but I will keep an eye out because if there's any place to find dragon things, it's those places.
what is interesting to me as well, I've always been a fan of dragons. Um, watching the Avatar movie the first time it came out, um, the banshees are such. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, the banshees are essentially, dragons as well, and like I know I've ridden a dragon in a past life. Like, I, it's in every cell of my being. I know dragons are real. I know they existed on this planet at one time, but this has been for years and years, but recently I am seeing a lot of information about dragons coming out, and that they're here, and that when we make the transition to the awakened world, the dragons are going to come back out and be with us. So I'm all excited.
Well, that's very interesting. I mean, as far as evolution and animals go, it would make sense that a dragon existed, just like a unicorn. I
Mhm.
mean, if a narwhal can exist, a unicorn can exist. Like it's not that, far fetched.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I generally like the idea of dragons, but also things with giant teeth breathing fire, like maybe not so much. I don't know. Depends on just how gentle they are. I don't, generally I don't even like other people's dogs. So, I don't know.
There's that, but
We'll see about
I have full confidence that a dragon and I would be besties for
that.
sure.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the comedian it's called White Women Comedy, and he's like, "White woman ain't scared of shit." And then he shows clips of videos of like a white woman walking up to like, I don't know, a tiger in the middle of, the street that escaped the zoo going, "Here kitty kitty, here kitty
That
kitty,"
would probably be me because I'm sure Tiger is my power animal, so I know that me and Tiger we're good.
Yeah, it's anyway, he's got some really cool stuff. So yeah, I could see that like here dragon, here puff. Anyway. Oh, let's see. What do we have on the hopper today? As my old boss used to say. What's in the hopper? What's your favorite ceremonial practice?
Well, like I think it would be such a great surprise to our audience when we confess that cacao ceremonies are our favorite. Oh, I like it. And what I will say is, obviously, yes, there's something super, super special about a cacao ceremony. Um, After, the ceremony that you flew down here for last week, and just that experience, and how the women walked away from that. And that was a bit more than a cacao ceremony. It was like a cacao ceremony on steroids. Eh,
Well, let's
But
talk about that because not everybody knows what happened and what we're talking about. So why don't you explain that a little bit? What happened?
yeah, so one of our dear friends, Vanessa, who normally listens, if you're out there, Vanessa, shout out to you this morning. But she requested a ceremony for celebration of her birthday and herself. And so, this was a first. And of course, like, I love anything that invites me to open up my creative pathways. And so, it's centered around a cacao ceremony. But then I had, and I don't want to give away all the details here in case someone's listening. Like, you want to come and experience, the surprise of it. And another thing I will say, because I do have already, since doing that, I have 3 requests. I have one scheduled already for next week. And that's how special it was. Like, people are like, I have to have this. And so each one will be tailored specifically to that individual. Like, before we had the ceremony, I sat with Vanessa and I'm like, why do you want this ceremony, and what do you want it to manifest for you in your life? And so, she was telling me she's struggling with worthiness, so we incorporated that into the ceremony. And stepping in more into the feminine energy, which is a big deal for most women living in modern times. And and a few other things. So I incorporated all of that into this cacao ceremony that had all these other pieces to it, um, to open up everyone's heart, which is what cacao is so beautiful at. And with this open heart, we can create a greater connection, not only with those there present, but a greater connection to your authentic self. And yeah, what do you have to add about the ceremony?
What I'll say is I absolutely loved seeing that core group of girlfriends all support each other and specifically support Vanessa. And I think that um, being a group that's accustomed to getting together, this was such a new level of camaraderie, a new depth to all of the relationships. And aside from the fact that there were a lot of surprises and there were like a lot of fun things that people didn't expect, the expressions of awe and just comfort that I saw in the women really came from being together in this ceremonial environment. It's different than hanging out at the bar. It's different than going to a networking event. It's not the same thing. And I think a lot of the magic is in the silence, is in the waiting for someone else to finish talking. It's the holding space and listening to each other. And it's not a therapy session, like, you know what I mean? Nobody was like really saying anything like that. It was very short and sweet. And, as always, in all of our practices, you have the option to not speak at all. But it was so beautiful that everybody just so instantly, and I think this happens in 99.99% of the circles that we do, as soon as you put women in circles together, all the guards drop and you just feel so supported, literally just sitting in a circle with your friends. So I think everyone walked away. I mean, I know Vanessa walked away really happy. A lot of the
I'm
ladies
pretty
that
sure
were
she's still floating through this.
there, I believe it. And I think a lot of people walked away going, wow, I didn't know that that's what this was, right? Because so many times we measure the metrics of success by what car are we driving and how much money do we have in the bank, and am I busy? If I'm busy, then I must be successful. And then you sit in a circle like this and women say, wow, I didn't know that I needed this. I didn't realize that I hadn't been receiving, or that I haven't rested in this way, right? Because creating a situation where women are together that doesn't involve a spreadsheet or a timeline or, a goal, to just be, is something that we really don't get to do a lot, So it's really, I don't know, it was just really, really beautiful. And I had quite a few people that hadn't been to our ceremonies before come up to me and say, I mean, they were almost speechless. They were like, wow, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know I could feel this way, And I just think that's so, so, so special. So yes, I think as much as I could do solo cacao ceremonies for myself, and I offer private cacao ceremonies one-on-one and things like that, having that group is just so incredibly powerful. That's my favorite, to see people grow. For
Yeah.
sure.
Well, and when I was getting everything ready for this podcast this morning, I was thinking about in our Western culture here, and thinking about what we would normally label as a ceremony, like a wedding ceremony, or those are the kinds of categories of ceremony that we have. And not that they're not beautiful, they absolutely are. I think about the little wedding ceremony that I performed earlier this year. Like, it was really special to be able to do that. But that level of connection, and I don't even, like, there aren't even words for me to put together for what we experienced in that ceremony last Tuesday. And it's just, you just feel it like so much deeper in your heart. And so yes, all ceremonies are wonderful, but when you add cacao and open up people's heart, and there's, you just have to experience it to know.
I I think part of the depth that comes with it, aside from the sheer magic of the moment, is the intention that everyone comes in with, right? And being able to sit still, that in and of itself is such a gift, to be able to sit still and not offer advice or jump in, or talk while other people are talking. Like, it really is such a gift to just listen to someone else and look at them when they're talking. And one-on-one, that's easy, but when in a group situation do you ever get to do that? Talking about weddings, everyone I know says, I don't remember this from my wedding, I don't remember that from my wedding, I never got to eat. The bride, husband and wife paid thousands of dollars for their wedding and their guests, and that what they remember is the dancing, and they remember laughing with their friends, but they don't remember how the food tasted or this or that, right? So what I love about the ceremony is that it strips away the things that don't really matter in that moment, and hyper focuses you on what's most important. And at the end of the day, it's that connection. That's what makes it so special. So yeah, I'm excited that this is a new offering for us. I'm excited that we can bring something to the community that you don't see very often. And what a cool way to allow your friends to celebrate you, that doesn't necessarily involve spending $1,000 on dinner, or buying bottles of wine, or buying each other gifts. Like, I don't need another candle set. I need for my friends to sit with me and tell me nice things. That's what I need. You know what I mean? Like for us to remind each other of what we're capable of, you know?
Yeah. I think we had all of the love languages present at that ceremony. Um, Quality time, gifts,
Words of
physical
affirmation
touch,
for sure.
words of affirmation. I mean, it was a full-on love fest, which you would expect nothing more from the heart-opening cacao.
Yes, and that was fun too, you know, being able to explain a little bit about cacao and how it works to folks that hadn't had it before, you know, demystify it, you know, and again, just like you said, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but that was really cool. So check that out.
And
And
it
really,
is on the website now. If people want more information about it, they can go to bodyandsoulevents.love and find find out more details and find out how to request one for yourself. Or you know, it's something, it's beautiful. I was so proud of Vanessa for requesting that for herself, because it's not something easy to do, to ask for a ceremony in your honor. And so I'm so proud of her for being a way shower in that. You know, we talk about self-love all the time and how important that is. And it was like, that was a giant act of self-love to request that. So super proud of her for requesting it. Super proud of her for allowing herself to receive all of that. Because, you know, I warned her a little bit beforehand. I said, it's going to be a little bit outside of your comfort zone and other people's comfort zone, what I've planned here, but I just invite you to be open to it and receive it. And I think she absolutely did allow herself to receive that. And I had something more I was going to say, but it got lost in my excitement.
well, I was thinking that, you know, what a great precursor to our retreat coming up. And I actually wanted to showcase a new product that we're putting out. Oh, here we go. Let's see if I'm smart enough to do this. How do I? Here we go. Show a little comment from Vanessa. It is something that will stay with me for years to come. It healed me on a nuclear level. Amazing. Amazing. We love you. We're so proud of you. So retreat, we've talked about it ad nauseum. Everybody knows. You should know. If you don't know, get in the know and ask us. North Georgia mountains. We've got 60 days, if I'm not mistaken. Plenty of time to book your flight, join in on the shuttle ride, and join us in the woods. It is going to be absolutely magical.
And full of ceremony.
And full of ceremony. I was going to say, every time I think we've got the retreat fully planned, I'm like, ooh, I want to add this. Ooh, I want to add that. while
We're gonna have to add a few extra days, I think.
This is really, I wish we could. This part's really important. You know, we talk a lot about people have asked me my opinion on their retreats, and the number one advice I always give is you need to add in more downtime, because I think having downtime, particularly for the busy person, you got to stop. You got to slow down. You know, you have to just give yourself a minute, and I call it detoxing. You know, so as much as I love all of the ceremonies that we do and all of the opportunities we have to share, I think having time to integrate in between is really important too. So we've got time for that. We've got time for massages. You know, all kinds of stuff. But what I'm really excited to share, that was my very horrible segue, is that I'm sharing my little oracle cards. So my first shipment should be coming in. This is our initial proof. It says Fifth Horizon Inspiration Deck. This is volume 1. So these are on, and I'll show you guys the cards. They look like this. And on this side, you have different phrases, different messages. So these were all channeled in a cacao Hi, there's Vanessa. Take my money. You got it, babe. You got it. Look at this. Look at this. So, I get all of my inspiration while in my cacao meditations. And so one day I just had like an absolute rush of inspiration, and I jotted down, I don't even know how many, 100 and something phrases. And so this is, I think, about a 40 pack. So there's about 40 different phrases in here. And the idea is you just concentrate and mix them up and say, okay, universe, what do I need to know today? And pick up your card and see what your message is. So today I got love yourself first.
Oh, so appropriate.
So appropriate. So, and just so you know, I named it Fifth Horizon. I say that the fifth horizon is heaven, nirvana. You have the four cardinal directions and the four horizons. The fifth horizon is just the be all end all. And so that's my goal. That's where I'm headed. And that's why I created Fifth Horizon products. And we have our journal. Do you have a hard copy with you by chance? All of mine are in the studio. Me neither. All of mine are in the studio, but we have a beautiful journal. We do have the PDF copy that's on the website. And we have a printed copy, which is absolutely gorgeous. The colors are stunning and real easy to write in. I'm a paper pen snob. So with the right pen and the smoothness of that paper, like, you will find yourself.
Yeah, I've actually like, yes, pen. Wait.
Dom White.
Oh,
thank you.
yeah.
So it's yeah.
I've debated keeping one for myself.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
um,
It feels good to write, but if you're a typist and sometimes we type faster than we write and you got stuff to get out, the PDF version is phenomenal. Like, that was the first thing we published and I loved it. And, little side note, that's just volume 1. Both of these items are volume 1. There are tons more volumes coming out as well. So we're rounding out our offerings and I'm very excited about that.
yay.
So yeah, I mean, you can, I know, like, maybe this podcast is a lot to consume. Like, maybe you don't have time to listen to it, and maybe a retreat is too long for you. And maybe, I don't know, you've got small kids and you just can't figure out how to get to a ceremony. Like, these types of items are the perfect way to kind of just stay in touch, just little bits of inspiration. And I promise you, like, this is the gateway. Like, this will lead you to the next thing. And then you're going to be like, man, I can't believe I didn't even realize that. I hadn't even thought of that. How do I get more of this? Come to the ceremonies, come to the events, come to the retreats. Vanessa, I always say she's our poster child because she has been to every single retreat we have ever offered. And my last shout out to Vanessa, because it's going to sound like the Vanessa show, but like, girl, we have watched Vanessa grow so much over the years, and we're just so proud of her accomplishments. And I hope and thank her for participating in everything that we've put out there, because yeah, I feel strongly that having that community has helped her get to where she wants to go. And she says, and we'll continue. Thank you, love.
We have anything else more to talk about ceremony?
I don't think there's anything ceremonial to talk about, except that I would love to hear feedback from you guys. So at this point, we have had this podcast for several years now. We've had our ceremonies for a couple years and our retreats as well. So if you guys have a favorite part that you like, please find this on YouTube or on Facebook and leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part. And also, maybe there's something that you like to do that we haven't done that you'd be interested in doing together. Like, again, kudos to Vanessa for asking for what she wanted and creating a whole new line, a whole new way of interacting. So don't be shy with your ideas. Let us know and we'll do what we can.
Yeah. Whew. All right. It's been an amazing show. And with that, we'll let you all get on with your busy, busy days.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.